Welcome to today's exciting episode where we dive deep into the heart of the art of eternity. In an era of immense wealth in which thriving civilizations and cutting-edge technology coexist, Kara Moon, a graduate student in archaeology specializing in Egyptology, struggled with financial ruin and emotional distress. These issues are triggered by the mysterious disappearance of her father, Frost Moon, an archaeologist whose disappearance without a trace 8 years ago while on an archaeological excavation in the Egyptian pyramids. One day, while she was on her way to university, she was approached by a mysterious man dressed in a dark black suit. He claimed to know where her father was and if she was interested in this offer in exchange for an enormous amount of money. He handed her a business card and walked away. At that time, she didn't pay attention to him and thought he was a crackpot. While she was studying in one of her classes, however, her professor urgently asked to see her. The professor informed her that, despite her academic brilliance, Moon was on the wake of being expelled from her university due to unpaid tutor fees, which had accumulated over the past 2 years. On her way home, she began to reflect on the stranger words. Intrigued, she decided to contact the number on the business card he had given her when the call was answered. Moon said, "Hello, A mysterious voice said back, "When the god Moon-Ra opened the way, we will meet again, Moon." Moon said again for him, "Who are?" and then hung up. The next day, she thought everything that happened was a product of her muddled imagination. Since nothing unusual had occurred since she hung up on the man from the business card, she got dressed up and went to the university as usual. But when she opened her front door, she found a black envelope tucked in by the doorstep. She picked it up, put it in her bag, and continued to the university without giving it much thought. The time dragged on and she sat in class, her mind preoccupied with how to gather enough money to pay her tutor fee. By evening, Moon began applying for jobs at various restaurants and bars. Eventually, she was hired at an Arabic-style restaurant. The manager assigned her to the night shift, as she had class during the day. Moon readily accepted the offer and returned home with a smile, excited to begin her new job on the following day. A week later, the same man in black entered the restaurant where Moon was working and asked her over to discuss the offer he had previously made, but she still thought he was just a crackpot person, so she told him to leave the restaurant. The agreement grew round inside the restaurant. Attracting attention, the store manager came over to mediate. And the manager of the restaurant suddenly exclaimed. Manager said, "Moon, apologize immediately. This man is the owner of this restaurant." Moon said, "What?" Moon was shocked and feeling utterly shocked and embarrassed. Moon gathered her things, left immediately, and rushed home without knowing what to say or do. When she returned home, with anger and confusion, she threw her bag onto her bed, causing the black envelope she had picked up early to fall out. She opened the envelope and found a piece of paper with a map and a cryptic message. The Great Sphinx always watched over rebirth and the revival of life. This message triggered memory from her childhood. She packed her things and returned to her father's old house to search for answers. Upon arriving at her father's house, she started by searching for her father's rooms and remembering stories he used to tell her about ancient Egypt when she was young. But she found no clues until she recalled the message from the letter. She began looking for a Sphinx statue in the room and found one of a bookshelf behind her father's desk. She turned the statue and it rotated. From her knowledge, she remembered that Sphinx statues always face to the east. After aligning it eastward using her phone compass, a hidden underground room opened. Moon had never known that such a secret place exists in her home. The hidden room was filled with ancient statues, sculpture, and hieroglyphics. In awe, Moon realized that this room might hold the key to her father's disappearance. She noticed a necklace made of lapis lazuli placed next to a letter. The letter bore a date, a location, and a signature from False Moon's childhood friends, Bisco Scott. Moon determined to find her father. Moon wrote a resignation letter to her workplace and applied for a leave of absence from school. Then traveled to the location mentioned in the letter. When she arrived at the grand mansion, while she was observing, a man dressed in black approached her and said, "Scott is waiting for you." She was then led into the mansion blindfolded with an black cloth. When the blindfold was removed, she found herself seated at a dining table where a man spoke up. "It's been a while, hasn't it, Moon?" The familiar voice immediately made Moon recognize him as the owner of the restaurant, who had given her the business card, introducing himself as Bisco Scott. Moon didn't hesitate to ask him all the questions she had one answer to. "Where is my father? Who are you, the real you? How do you know my name? What do you want from me?" Scott replied to her in a gently voice, "When the time comes, you will know. Unless, of course, you accept the offer I'm extending to you. If you're willing to join me to Egypt in search of ancient artifacts I need, I will tell you the truth about your father's whereabouts, along with a substantial sum of money. Are you interested?" Moon stood there thinking for a moment, filled with hope at the chance of seeing her father again. Finally, she decided to accept Scott's offer. Just as she was asked about him another question, she suddenly felt a sharp headache and faint. When she awoke, she found herself on a luxury private jet. The TV screen displayed a alert showing that they were heading toward Luxor, Egypt. She met Charlotte, an expert in engineering and astronomy, and the Dr. Raphael Khan, a local medical specialist who was her childhood neighbor. Both introduced themselves to Moon and Sharp, the information they had been given by Scott. Charlotte said to Moon, "Please listen carefully. Now you are part of a mission to hunt for an artifact that an ancient civilization once worshipped and fiercely guarded with deadly traps." Upon arrival, Hansara, a friend of Raphael, met them and took them to Scott's vacation villa. The next day, then set off the Valley of the Kings, where the pharaoh's pyramid filled with hidden secrets and concealed entrance stood. Scott informed them that the first clue would be found there. Moon resolved to begin with the pyramid holding the tomb of Pharaoh Tutankhamun. With the intense heat of the day, Raphael suggested a brief respite in shade beneath the Sphinx, where he took a moment to wash his face. Suddenly, he noticed faint hieroglyphics appearing where the water had poured. Moon said this inscription could be a clue to the pyramid concealed entrance hidden beneath the Sphinx pole, facing the pyramid's entrance. This the symbol that unveiled the message. When the sun stands at its zenith, the shadow of Anubis will reveal the path to discovery. Recalling her father's bedtime tales of adventure, Moon instructs Sharon and Raphael to wait until noon. At that moment, there would be no shadow cast by the sun, but should the Sphinx shadow emerge, it could be the key to the hidden entrance. At noon approach, the light reflects from the Sphinx eye toward a nearby stone, transforming it from a light color to a deep. It turned the black to the blue. Sharon, an expert, identified it as lapis lazuli, a stone the ancient Egyptians revered as a symbol of power and used in their worship of Ra, the god of the sun. With the stone 5-point shape, Moon and Raphael put with all their strength together, activating an ancient mechanism that revealed a hidden subterranean pathway into the heart of the pyramid. Within the pitch-black depth of the pyramid's underground chamber, Raphael destroyed flashlight he had prepared, casting beams of light. As they ventured deeper, he revealed status of the goddess Sekhmet, Isis, and the god Thoth, along with various inscriptions adorning the pyramid's wall. Near the entrance to a small attic chamber, Moon spotted an inscription on an ancient piece of papyrus hidden between stone, remarkable well preserved despite its 3,000-year-old age. The papyrus captivated her curiosity. Moon carefully retrieved it from the stone crevice and translated the writing. When the endless night and the everlasting day meet, what will remain under the heaven forever? It seemed like a riddle, but Moon wasn't sure whom she was meant to answer or what the writer was truly seeking. Sharon interrupted the answer as the moon, which appeared in both day and night. Then they began to search for a way to respond to the riddle. Sharon murmured that if they follow principles of astronomy, the arrangement of all the pyramids within the Valley of the King aligned with the northern constellation. Using this method to analyze the pyramid placement, they realized it aligned with. Sharon and Moon spoke in unison. Orion! The two exchanged a glance and then Moon said, "Run! It's a trap!" Raphael, still confused and startled by the unfolding event, stepped back unintentionally onto the stone slab, triggering what appeared to be a hidden mechanism. In an instant, an ancient trap activated and Raphael felt thought an opening, with Moon following after him, separating them from Sharon. As they landed, Moon and Raphael found themselves before a hidden door with a narrow shaft of sunlight illuminating multiple pathways within the pyramid. Moon and Raphael decided to explore together. They eventually arrived in a chamber adorned with countless gemstones and crystals. The room was dimly lit, casting mysterious shadows, but Moon spotted an inscription that seemed far more valuable than all the treasure in the room, a clue hinting at an ancient technology of immense power hidden within this tomb. Suddenly, Moon felt a wave of nausea, followed by vomiting and difficulty breathing. Raphael quickly guided her to the corridor, where he radioed for help from members of their convict organization to extract her. However, as the organization maintained strict anonymity, Raphael had to conduct a medical assignment himself. He discovered that Moon was suffering from alpha toxin poisoning caused by exposure to the Aspergillus flavus fungus. Upon hearing Raphael's report on Moon's condition, Scott immediately ordered all members of the organization to locate Shalon within the pyramid at once. Meanwhile, Shalon had fallen into a grand hall containing a valuable artifact, potentially a crucial clue that could lead to a transformation for humanity. Using her engineering expertise, Shalon examined the pyramid's internal pathway and realized that in ancient times, the pyramid might not have been built solely as a tomb. Soon, the team from the convert organization located Shalon and immediately escorted her back to the mansion. Upon arrival, Scott summoned Shalon to his private room, where he questioned her about something of great importance. Moon felt a heavy heart upon seeing Shalon's troubled expression, but she couldn't do much when Shalon remained silent and dismissed her from the room. Afterward, Moon consults Raphael about the situation and he expressed his concerns. He promised that once Moon recovered, he would help her uncover the truth, equipping her with protective gear. As Moon began to sense something amiss about this mission, she secretly dropped on a conversation between Scott and Raphael. She overheard that the area where she had fallen was infested with a particular type of spore linked to the tomb of a pharaoh, suggestion that there might be a burial site of the mummy or some ancient king involved in this event. Later, once Moon had recovered, Scott gathered everyone to devise a new strategy for their expedition, outlining the route and the toll they would use to safeguard against the deadly trap that might await them in the tomb. As they re-enter the pyramid, Shalon requests to separate from the group. Moon walked back to the familiar passage, heading toward the chamber where she suspects there might be clues about the pharaoh tomb, the mummy, or a hint of ancient technology hidden immense power. Upon entering the chamber, she discovered that the tomb she was searching for was empty. Nothing remained, as if it had been robbed long ago. While she paced around the room in curiosity, her foot accidentally stepped on a ring adorned with purple amethyst gemstone. Picking it up to examine, she found the name Force Moon engraved on the inside of the band. At that moment, she heard Raphael shouting for her to find Shalon before sunset. He warned that there might be deadly trap lurking, ready to strike at any moment. While they searched for Shalon, Moon began to notice some irregularity as she started seeing skeletal remains they were likely not human from ancient times in the corridor, which seemed to have died due to deadly traps. Suddenly, they spot Shalon sitting and crying, but she did not say anything. They then saw the way of the pyramid by retracing their steps back to the entrance they had come from, with Raphael leading the way. After that, Shalon requested to return to their accommodation, as Raphael and Moon journeyed to explore a pyramid not far from the one they had previously uncovered. They entered armed with clues gathered from Shalon's research. This pyramid had been unearthed and opened for public viewing, yet the underground temple remained sealed. Moon recalled her exploration of the empty, mysterious pyramid, where she had encountered an engraving on the wall stating, "The light of dawn, when reflected by the shadow of dark, revealed the location of our excellence." These revelations led her to realize that the ancient technology embedded with immense power might indeed exist. Let's wait until dusk, Moon said to Raphael, her voice steady with conviction. The beam from their flashlight reflects off the stone caving, revealing small recesses around the wall of the corridor. She believed this might point the way to a hidden chamber concealing lost technology. Upon entering the secret room, they were taken aback by what lay before them, an artifact that appeared unusual and captivating. It resembled a jar always, filled with metal rods and rolled sheets of copper, accompanied by a liquid that seemed acidic. As they pressed onward, they stumbled upon a pedestal akin to an altar dedicated to a deity. At its pinnacle, it was adorned with glowing gemstones, as if it were part of an ancient mechanism. At that moment, Moon understood that this object held immeasurable value and could potentially serve as a source of energy, propelling them into the future. Suddenly, Scott and his entourage appeared in the room, the air thick with tensions as he revealed his true intentions. He sought this technology to control energy power and prevent future destruction. This revelation forced Moon to confront a crucial decision. Would she choose to protect or destroy it to prevent Scott from obtaining it? A struggle ensued between Moon and Scott's crew, with screams and the sound of impact echoing throughout the chamber. She fought desperately, using every means available to evade capture and find an escape route. Ultimately, Moon managed to flee. Having snagged away some equipment from Scott's team, she understood that this could be the key to protecting the technology from falling into Scott's hands. Moon remained in Egypt with Raphael, receiving assistance from Raphael's friend Hansara. They stayed in a small room in Cairo, surrounded by an atmosphere steeped in history. After Moon and Raphael recovered from their earlier confrontation, they began to devise their next plan. The tensions of their encounter reigned in their minds as they sought a way to stop Scott from seizing control of the ancient technology. Moon received a call from Sharon, which filled her with both excitement and anxiety. Sharon decided to reveal some important truths to Moon and Raphael. She explained that the advanced technology she had developed for Scott's organization was an apparatus called the Eye of Horus. Eye of Horus is an advanced visual interface system capable of displaying augmented reality or AR on ancient structure, Sharon said, her voice thick with stress. The Eye of Horus resembles a special contact lens that projects holograms and analyzes the environment, allowing the wearer to see energy field, ancient data remaining on the walls, and the secret pathway. Moon listened with keen interest, understanding that the result from this device would process the thought, action, and behavior of the user directly into computer software, creating visual representation of events that the human eye could not detect. However, as Chalon was about to reveal the truth, she had already learned of Scott's nefarious plan. Her hesitation made her take a long time to decide to tell Moon the truth, as she needed Scott's money to care for her sick mother. When Scott called me in for a meeting, I told him I couldn't accomplish it. Shalon said, her voice quavering. He immediately wanted to remove me from this mission. Moon and Raphael exchanged glances, acutely aware of the significance of this information. They knew they had to do something to stop Scott before it was too late. When Moon heard what Charlotte revealed, confusion began to envelop her mind, blurring the line between reality and the visual image she had encountered. She decided to take the amethyst ring and gave it her father's name to Sharon. "I would like you to help me examine this," Moon said, her voice trembling. "It might be the key to unveiling the mystery of my father's disappearance." Sharon accepted the ring with determination and began her research on it while Moon team gathered data to prepare for their return to Luxor. They intend to explore the Valley of the King anew, with Raphael taking on the role of computer system operator. "Activate the Eye of Horus," Raphael commanded. Moon and Charlotte follow suit, and as they power on the device, a billion lights spread from the digital system. Suddenly, the ancient structure of Egypt around them began to shimmer with digital overlays. Lost hieroglyphy appeared before them in a universal language, revealing a wealth of information, secret rooms hidden behind walls, and even simulation of the past created from scan of the residual energy within the pyramid, which Charlotte had collected from the Grand Hall. She had discovered. Moon felt a mix of excitement and shock as she witnessed the unfolding revelations. The hope in her heart began to rekindle, for they were now getting closer to answer regarding her father and the mystery hidden in the past. As Moon activated the device, she witnessed projection of events from past, ritual conduct by the pharaoh, the ancient engineer named Imhotep, who was manipulating strange equipment they had never seen before. Moon began to follow the simulated path that had once been in use in ancient times. The team journey led them to the lost pyramid of Amenhotep IV, where they utilized the Eye of Horus to reveal a hidden entrance that had remained concealed from human sight for thousands of years. Inside the pyramid, they encountered strange symbols visible only through the AR interface of the device. These symbols could not be interpreted by the AI computer system, so it became necessary for Moon to decipher their meaning. As she examined the engineer symbol, a clear message unfolded, a warning from an ancient society that had developed as one bioengineered technology, possessing particles against two modern nuclear weapons. The translate message read, "Cursed be those who disrupt the legs of a pharaoh. They that shall break the seal of this tomb shall meet death by a disease that no doctor can diagnose." Moon felt the weight of those words pressing down upon her, understanding that they stood on the brink of great danger if they were not careful. The deeper Moon delved into this mystery, the more she realized that her father was not merely searching for a physical artifact. He was attempting to seal anyway ancient technology that had the potential to alter the balance of power in the world. This technology enabled the ancient Egyptians to control light, energy, and power like never before. Suddenly, as Moon continued to operate the Eye of Horus, the world around her began to shift. The more she interacted with the device, the less stable reality became. She started to see distortion in her surroundings, wall wrapping, time speeding up and slowing down, and people flickering in and out of existence. Moon recognized that this technology was not just a system to enhance vision, it was a virtual reality simulation capable of creating an entire visual world. Moon, take it off! Come back to reality! Shalon's voice called her back to her sense. As she removed the device, she found herself in a grand hall featuring a unique mechanism that harnessed massive water pressure from beneath the pyramid. Similar to using hydropower to generate electricity, within this hall, there was something known as the Baghdad battery, a power storage device that remained functional even after nearly 1,000 years. While they were exploring the around area that the hall, Scott rapidly revealing his true intentions. He wanted to use this ancient technology to create power that would allow him to control people within regulation. He planned to use this technology to build a utopia, where the leader of the world would be manipulated through meticulously crafted narratives, leveling ancient technology with devastating potential as a bargaining chip. When Moon refused to reveal the key to the mystery to Scott, he smiled with a mocking grin and said, "Moon's the one you trust, Raphael, is the one who has been feeding me all the information." His voice was calm and steady. "So, he's the one who gave me the eye of Horus that you removed during your explorations, and he's the one controlling the computer system that had left you confused between these two worlds." Scott would pierce through Moon like a dagger, making her feel as if she had been stabbed in the heart. The confessions, accompanied by his laughter, sent her more through her world. The touch she had placed in Raphael began to unravel, leaving her desperate for the truth. She needed to know what their relationship meant in the world full of decepts. Moon stood frozen, feeling as if time had stopped when she heard Scott's words. Confusion and disbelief began to swell within her. She understood that Raphael played a crucial role in uncovering the truth about her father. Yet, now everything was truth in emerged. She couldn't perceive. Raphael said, "Don't listen to him, Moon." Raphael shouted from a corner of the hall. Raphael said, "Scott is playing his game." Scott said, "Games?" Scott laughed rounder. Scott said, "This is not a game. It is our future, our world." He began to pace the room. "I will harness this technology to control humanity, to keep them in line, to prevent them from destroying themselves again." Moon found herself at a crossroad. Would she allow Scott to exploit this technology for his benefit, or would she take every measure to protect it? As Scott continued to pressure her, she recalled her father teaching about the danger of power falling into the hands of the irresponsible. Resolutely, Moon decided to activate the Eye of Horus once more. The device opened her vision to a visual realms, enabling her to decipher ancient symbols and grasp the hidden meaning of the energy around her. At that moment, she saw images of the gods who protect this technology and realized that it was her duty to safeguard it. Moon said, "I will not let it fall into anyone's hands," Moon declared with conviction. Suddenly, Another struggle erupted between Moon and Scott in the hall, as Scott lunged toward her, attempting to seize the eye of Horus. Moon deftly jogged his advance. She utilized the power of the device Shalon had developed to create illusion, causing Scott and his team to see distorted images. That team were simulating a visual reality. At last, she managed to escape the hall and ran toward the chamber housing the Baghdad battery, the very source of energy that powered the ancient technology. She understood that if concealed deep within simulation's technology, Scott would never be able to harness its power. Scott followed her into the chamber, and when he saw Moon preparing to act on the battery, he shouted furious, "You will destroy our future!" Moon said with him, "Our future that you plan to control?" Moon retorted, her voice steadily. Moon said, "No, I will not allow anyone to use this power to dominate others. Everyone deserves to live life on their terms." With determination, Moon slammed her hand on the device that held the battery and triggered the water pressure system in the room. As she did so, the battery erupted with a fierce explosion, sending electrical surge throughout the chamber and causing the pyramid system to shut down automatically. Scott stood there, stunned, as Moon seized the moment to flee the pyramid. Ultimately, she found Raphael waiting at the exit. After narrowly escaped the crumbling pyramid, Moon breathed a sign of real life, her heart racing with adrenaline and lingering shock for her confrontation with Scott. She is gratified so much, choosing to destroy the Baghdad battery rather than let Scott use its ancient power to control humanity. Now, standing at the entrance, she sees a familiar figure, Raphael, her trusted ally, waiting to help her flee the remnant of the pyramid. Raphael reached out, flashing her a warm and smiled. "Come on, Moon. We have to go before they realize we're gone." Moon turned to him, demanding the truth about her father's whereabouts. Raphael said, "Your father was a guardian of this technology. When he discovered that Scott intended to misuse it, he plugged into the depth of this visual technology, seeking the most consumed point that no one could detect." With a grateful nod, Moon clapped his hand, her guard lower after the chaos she endured. She found a silver of comfort in Raphael's presence, believing that at least he remained true. But as they rushed through the ancient ruins, Moon felt a subtle but cool tug at her hand, a flash of metal attached to light for comfort sense, and uneasy chill down her spine. Pausing, she glanced down and caught Raphael slipping her father ring off her finger. Stunned, she jerked her hand back, her poise hammering as the truth hit her like a wave. "Moon! Raphael, what are you doing?" she whispered, her voice laden with disbelief and hurt. Raphael stepped back, the gentle warmth in his expression replaced by a mocking, calculating stare in his hand. Her father's ring is a symbol of everything she holds scared. He threw it slowly, his movement deliberate. Raphael said, "I'm sorry, Moon, but you were always so focused on preserving some noble legacy that you never realized the true potential here." His voice dripped, with directions hitward cutting deeper than any wood Scott could have inflicted. Your father may have taught you to guard power, but he taught me how to wield it, and now it's mine. Moon would shudder at the person she thought was her ally reveal his true nature. Her vision blur, her chase threatens, and every memory of trust, every shared moment with Raphael turned to dust in her mind. Moon said to him, "You planned this? For the beginning?" She choked out the words of betrayal, squeezing her throat. Raphael gave her a smile, one she now recognized as devoid of any sincerity. "I need you to trust me, after all. No one else could lead me through the trap and puzzle, and no one else could get close enough to the eye of Horus." He held up the ring with a smirk, swallowing her pain. "Now I have what I need." Moon first clenched as she felt the tidal wave of anger and sadness tearing through her. Moon said, "I won't let you get away with this, Raphael. My father trusts you. I trust you." Raphael says, "Trust?" Raphael laughed, a dark hollow sound. "Raphael, trust the oldest tricks, Moon? I played my role, didn't I? Royal? Dependable? Away be your size." It was almost amusing, watching you so devoted to something you don't even understand. "But now, Moon, I have what I came for, and you have nothing." As Raphael slipped into the shadow, the ring glinting in his hand, Moon stand frozen, her heart heavy with betrayal. But even as Raphael disappeared into the night, something ignited within her, the loss, the anger, it sharpened her resolve. This is no longer just a mission to protect ancient secrets. It's a mission to reclaim her father's legacy and stop Raphael from unleashing a power that should never fall into the wrong hands. Sharon appeared as Moon's size, her presence calm and unwavering. In her hand, she held a small device, a relic from the pyramid control room. She whispered to Moon, "It's a fail-safe your father designed. It's to disable ancient technology in the wrong hands. The ring include." Moon took the device from Sharon, her fingers threatening around it. She knew this was her last chance to end Raphael's quest for power. She made his gas unflinching and placed the bottom. The device emitted a pulse that shot through the air, reaching Raphael instantly. He staggered at a sudden, invisible force surrounding him. The device emits a pulse that shot through the air, reaching Raphael instantly. He staggered as a sudden, invisible force surrounded him. His hold on the ring faltering, he tried to resist, catching it tighter, but the pulse grew stronger. Resonation with the ancient symbol attacked into the ring. The power he had sought to control was slipping away from him. "No!" Raphael screamed, his voice raised with desperation. "You can't do this! We could have ruled together!" But Moon's gaze remained cool. "Goodbye, Raphael." With a final echoing scream, Raphael lost his balance and jumped into the depth, swallowed by the earth, the charm closing over him as if the desert itself were reclaiming him. Silence fell over the scene. Moon and Sharon stood together watching as the last remnant of Raphael's ambition disappeared beneath the shifting sand. Moon exhaled, feeling the weight of her father's legacy settle on her shoulders. But for the first time, it wasn't abundant. She had faced betrayal, confronted her fear, and protected what mattered most. And as the sun rose higher, she knew her journey was far from over. But now it was her to choose. Suddenly, Charlotte emerged addressing Moon. "We are about to shut down the system, and it's a pleasure to see you again." The system began its countdown on 3, 2, 1. Moon found herself waking in her room, the ring of her father clutched in her hand, along with a note that read, "Welcome back home." A smile crept across her face as she rose and walked toward the door open it. She found Frost, her father, and Sharon sit at the dining table, all turning to her with warm smile. As Moon stood, her heart brimming with wonder and anticipation, her father, Frost Moon, rose quietly from the table. His gaze was warm and profound. The love he had held close for so long now reflected in his eyes. He extended a gentle hand to her, his voice tender, "I'm home, Moon." And this was the end of the story of the End of Eternity.